You can't systematize everything. Quite frankly, I've wanted to and I've tried, but you can't. You need people who can think and who can make decisions.
So, Mike, the first question I wanted to ask is around, should you create a system first or should you hire someone first? When we talk about expanding a team, a lot of people think, I got to get my systems in place first and then hire people. I'm curious your thought on that.
Right. What came first, the chicken or the egg? I think, my answer on this is ever changing, because people ask that all the time. When do I know I'm ready to hire an integrator? When do I know I'm ready to hire a team? When do I know I'm ready to hire another secretary or lawyer? Right. When I grew my team, it was playing catch up. I never had enough people. It was always, I got so busy, then you hire. I got so busy, and then you hire. And then John said to me, this is 8, 9, 10 years ago. He says, Michael, I can run models to predict when we're going to need that secretary. And so now we do that. So he knows how many files, like if we're having a big influx of cases, do we need a whole pod? Do we need a lawyer, secretary, paralegal pod? Because we're going to have an extra 120 cases, let's say, that need attention. And so we watch our trends, we watch our intake, we watch our numbers very, very closely, as you know. And anybody who's listened to me knows that we're watching our numbers. So we're not surprised. And we're not signing up. I have a goal, right? I've shared it with you and your people before. It's my goal is to sign up 40 new auto, truck, motorcycle accidents a week. 3 weeks ago, we signed up 66 in 1 week. And I'll be honest with you, Bill, it threw us in a bad loop. It was a great bad loop to have because we had a lot of cases, but my paralegals who do my initial 30-day stuff were on their heels. And so you don't want that. But if you're having 20 signups a week, then you have to adjust. And your numbers are a smoke detector. It's alerting you to issues and problems and that you can deal with in real time quickly. So the question is not, it's not simple. There's not a simple answer, but it's knowing your stuff before you make that decision. I resisted hiring an expensive COO. I resisted hiring an HR director. I resisted it because that's my nature. And I'm okay with that. But you can't just be sitting there not knowing your numbers. You're asking me, I don't even remember the initial question, but do you set up a system first? You hire people first? I guess as I'm talking, systems, I guess I want to know my numbers. I want to know why you think you need somebody. If you're a 3-man or woman shop, do you need a COO? No. But if you're a 10 and 15 person shop and you're starting to scale and you're wanting to grow, yeah, you're probably starting to approach that you need someone to really run the organization, to capture the numbers, to work on this, to be your CFO. At the beginning, John was my CFO, my HR, my COO, and then he got too busy. So we hired a CFO. And then he got too busy. We hired an HR director. And I think that's normal. And I think that's appropriate. I don't want people wasting money and throwing away money until they absolutely need it. I waited probably too long. And you just got to kind of know your numbers to find that sweet spot. And you kind of know when you know. And if hopefully you have a business coach, someone like you, someone else who can help make those good business decisions. One of the best things we did when I hired my business coach 13 years ago, I was able to ask, you coach 50 other businesses. Am I the size of a business that needs to hire a CFO, COO, HR director, et cetera? Or no? And you need that. We all need that. And I am still asking for advice, Bill. Last week when you and I talked, I was coming back, I think, from Kentucky, or I just came back from Kentucky to tour a very successful lawyer's practice in Kentucky. And it was fascinating. And and this is not, I'm still learning. And I'm definitely, doing okay here in Michigan, but I'm still learning for best practices. In 3 weeks, I'm going down to Atlanta to look at another different personal injury firm who's doing some other good things that I may not be doing. So you and I talk all the time about needing a coach. I'm constantly learning. I came away at the Kentucky meeting with 10 great ideas, and I'm implementing them right now. And you and I talk about those things, like how many people are actually people hopefully are taking notes and they're going to write down things, but then they have to implement them.
Yep.
And I'm loving it. Like I'm in a phase right now where I'm trying to get better in a few different areas of my practice. And it's so fun for me and you, I know, to learn new things, share the things we learn, but perfect certain things in our businesses. And so, I guess it's really knowing your processes, knowing your numbers, knowing your data before you take that leap to hire expensive employees. There you have it. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Took me 10 minutes to get there, but I got there.
Hey, it's a big deal for people, and it's a big problem in terms of when to hire. And there's always this, I need to get ready to hire someone. And I've found in my experience, the answer is to actually create the process after you've hired them and hold their hand, because if you wait to create a process, then Murphy's Law will kick in at some point. So my next question for you, Mike, is, and this is one of the big problems we notice as a law firm starts to scale and has been complacent for quite some time. They are breaking out of family vibes. A lot of law firms are built as the family business feeling, where there's this feeling of, everyone working there feels like family. And the more a law firm feels like quote unquote family, I've noticed the harder it is to hold high standards and high accountability. And there's a break point where a firm breaks, a certain staff size where they actually have to move to an accountability-based organization versus, oh, this is the receptionist that's been doing it forever. We'll just let her do her thing and not hold her accountable. So where's the fine line for you between family vibes and accountability and high standards?
Yeah. So, because you know me well and you've read my book a bunch of times, you know that my law firm has always been my baby. And it's my family. And I've been doing this, since 1995, and this is my family. But I used to have, my mind is flooding with examples. I have a little cottage with a boat, and I used to invite my entire firm out to the boat. And we'd first have 8 people, then 10 people, then 15 people, then 20 people. Then I had to start splitting it up into 2-3 days a week. And then I had 100 people and I couldn't do it anymore because people were getting jealous and this and that. And, my first original people, somebody here just had an 18-year anniversary. Another person's having an 18-year anniversary. So I don't know if I'm going to land on a great answer for you, but I'm going to try. If you're a CEO of your firm, if this is your firm, this is your family, this is your baby. You love these people. You would do anything for these people. And you cut them lots of slack, and they want time off. They want a raise. They want to work from home. Yes, 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 yes. And then you're asking me, at what point do you got to start saying, wait a minute? And there's no fine line, right? It's there came a time when I didn't even get to meet some of the new staff. So the family feeling and element definitely shifted away, which made me sad, which was hard. I think it lost some stuff. But it's a reality if you want to scale, if you want to get bigger. We had 160 some odd employees at our peak. And that was a lot. And you can't, I want to say it's my family at that huge of a number, but I didn't know the last 20, 30, 40 employees like I did my first 100 employees. And eventually stuff started, stuff falls through the cracks, people make mistakes. And you have to say, we have to start keeping people accountable. There's some accusations of micromanaging when you hold people accountable, when you set up processes and systems. We've had complaints that, all I'm doing is checking boxes to make sure this stuff's getting done. And my response is, well, do you realize we've had massive mistakes in these areas? And I don't know another way to tell you to do it. We can't just have 150 employees just doing it the way they want to do it and hoping it gets done. Those days are way over. So we have a very robust CRM system called Case Pacer. There's a lot of good ones out there. I'm not pushing Case Pacer. It worked for us. We toured the country and looked at half a dozen of them. We like Case Pacer for our practice. We are able to audit employees. We are able to have people go in and see if the witness lists were done, if they're calling the clients once a month, if they're doing all the things that we all need our clients, our lawyers and paralegals and secretaries to do. Nothing's going to, overtake their thought process, because you can't systematize everything. Quite frankly, I've wanted to, and I've tried, but you can't. You need people who can think and who can make decisions and hopefully we had a secretary a couple of years ago who misplaced a scheduling docket and we missed something. How do you, if a mail comes in and they don't docket it, well, then there's no process for that. There's certain things there's no process for. How do you hold that person accountable? Yes, they were written up. We have a thing where how will you, we make it positive. How are you never going to do that again? You're not getting fired. You're not losing pay. But you got to sit down and think about, how is this never going to happen again? I don't even remember the word. We have an acronym for it. And our team leaders give it out and they fill it out and it goes in their permanent file. So it's not a lovely thing to get, but we try to work it in a way that person thinks, oh yeah, I screwed up. I was caught. It definitely had some repercussions. How am I never going to do this again? And they have to come up with ideas. So we hold them accountable that way. When these are your family members and you love these people, to give them one of these documents, it's not easy. It's not fun, but it's holding them accountable. Yep. And then you're cascading that message to the rest of your team. Hey, this mistake was done. Yeah. These are the solutions how not to have it happen again. And this is what happened. These are the bad things that happen when you don't do this. That's important in my opinion. So we're constantly teaching, and the whole family to accountability thing, it's not easy. It's not fun. But it has to be done.
The next thing I want to kind of hit on here is the next segment, which is expanding your team. Expanding your leads is the next section. And there's this constant clatter I hear around qualified leads. And I view this as a very limiting belief for attorneys who want to expand, is they think that there's this perfect way to just get phone calls from perfect clients every single time. Yet the people who have the biggest brands probably get the highest percentage of unqualified leads because of how much attention they're getting. So my curious question for you is, as you expand your lead flows, how do you stomach and have a realistic understanding of, as your attention expands, the percentage of unqualified leads could expand, and how do you budget that into your process?
That's a big question. I have a team that deals with this for me. Okay. So I'm not going to be the best person to answer that question, but I will give you my beliefs. I think my team does break down qualified leads. And a qualified lead in the auto sphere is, they were in a car accident that wasn't their fault. They had car insurance. They were injured, et cetera. Right. And so that's a lead. If somebody calls and said, my car was hit in a parking lot, I wasn't hurt, I wasn't in the car, that's not a qualified lead. My belief is I don't care. Okay. I want the phones to ring. I want the web forms to come in. The more, the better. And we will find the cases and we find them. So I don't focus on how much it costs me to get a lead or a qualified lead, a price per case. I know a lot of your people freak out and spaz out on that. I know at the end of the day, because I know my numbers, that it doesn't matter to me, because I'm not buying leads. Okay. I know people buy leads. I've never hired a lead generator. I don't even know about that. But I'm putting out really good content. I'm doing really good SEO work that you have taught me about and helped me about. I do PPC and we're on TV. We do a little bit of radio. We have billboards. You know what? It's all coming in. I'm taking really good care of the phone calls. I have my goals of what I want to sign up. I'm referring out about 130 cases a week. The rest of them are, we give them free little tiny legal advice and that they go on their way. And I don't know what that costs me. At the end of the year, I know what I'm making. I know what my firm's making. And that's all I care about. I'm not micro focusing on those things. I'm looking at the bottom line down the road.
Yep.
And I don't want to take my eye. People have tried to get me to look at those things. And at the end of the day, I don't want to waste my energy on those things. I have people looking at those things.
Yep.
They're not obsessing about those things, but they're looking at them. I'm not, because I know my data. As you know, I have a forecast. I know what my firm's going to do at the end of this year. I know what I'm going to earn at the end of the year. So quite frankly, if I spend $1,000 or $3,000, if it costs that much to get a case, it doesn't matter. Because I know what my average fee is. I know how much time it takes to get through the system. I know everything about the data. So I know what I have to obsess on and what I don't have to obsess on. I have to obsess on great legal work. I have to obsess on a great intake call center. I have to make sure I'm not losing those calls and those leads, et cetera, right? So I focus on what I believe is the important stuff. And for every person, you got over 200 law firms on this call, Bill. Good for you, by the way. All these people have a different thing to obsess about. And I know that I'm talking at a level where some of your people need to care about if a case costs them $200 or $300 or $500. I get that. But at the end of the day, if they're making a good enough living, spend your energy on more important things. Creating the good content, making sure your SEO is right, make sure your GMB is right, make sure you got the right people in place, because everything else works out.